greetings. This is Dr. Williams, your superintendent, and this is our flipped work session. Although this month we are having our full work session, I wanted to again try this video format to see if this might be something that we consider doing as we move forward. So as you're looking at this video, you should have your hard copy of the packet in front of you. And I'm going to try to just walk us through it so you can just follow along with your hard copies of the documents as I just discuss some of the highlights with each of those documents. So this is, of course, for our board meeting that will be held on April 9th. We do have a work session on this Thursday prior to that. But at that board meeting, we will be hosted by Byrd First Class Early Learning Center. So again, this is for our April 9th board meeting that will be held at Byrd First Class Early Learning Center. Now, included in your packet, you do have our financial reports, and Ms. Harris will go over these at our work session. So please go ahead and look through those, though, the check registries and so forth. And if you do see some things that you have questions about, even prior to our work session on Thursday, if you will give me a call or just contact her directly, and she may be able to answer your question beforehand, or at least have whatever information you need at that work session on Thursday. And then, of course, you've got the minutes for approval and so forth that we will take care of at at Tuesday's board meeting. For our Team Selma celebrations on Tuesday night, we do have the book bonanza, and this is exciting. Our media specialist, Crystal Dozier, who is also our elementary teacher of the year, won an award, and we are celebrating her for the books that she's winning, or that she won rather, with the book bonanza. Then we also have several other competitions with our students, and we'll definitely want to celebrate our scholars. The ACE competition was with some of our Selma High scholars. Scrabble and Regional Science Bowl, those were some of our gifted and talented students, and they did travel out of town for those competitions, and we are super excited about celebrating their success as well. The Junior Chef competition, this is a year 2 bringing back #1 in the state for our culinary arts students at Selma High. So super excited about celebrating our scholars along with Mrs. Dozier for the book bonanza. And then, of course, at our board meeting on Tuesday, we do have the public comments next after that. So under Superintendent's Report, the Superintendent's Evaluation is the first item. Dr. Wright will be here on Thursday of this week. And you all did do the survey evaluation several months ago, as did the principals and the central office administrators. And so Dr. Wright will review the evaluation and talk about goals and that sort of thing at our work session on Thursday. So looking forward to hearing from him on that. Also under Superintendent's Report, I want to discuss with you this flipped work session format to see if it's something that you all think would be beneficial for us to work in as an ongoing tool, an ongoing resource, maybe to replace the face-to-face work sessions, or maybe just as an additional resource. So please be thinking about that so that we can talk about the benefits, pros and cons and so forth of having the flipped work session. And those are the items for the Superintendent's Report at this time, and I'll of course speak to you if there are any additions to the Superintendent's Report. So from there, we move to the consent agenda, and at this point I do want to direct you to the paperwork that you should have in your packet. We do have a number of items under consent agenda. The first one is a DECA International Career Development Conference. And this is for our DECA students, our DECA scholars at Selma High School. And it is a trip where they are traveling to Orlando. And in addition, the members will participate in an Emerging Leader series workshop. So it's about 21st century skills, and it's definitely something that will be beneficial to our scholars as we start looking at preparing them for college and career readiness. The DECA advisors and educators will participate in administering DECA's competitive events program and emerging leaders series, while also participating in professional learning activities themselves. So our teachers and leaders who are working with the students will also be involved in workshops. part of your packet is the itinerary for this International Career Development Conference, beginning on Friday, April 26th and going through Sunday, April 28th. So please take a look at the conference information, and you can tell by some of the titles that it's definitely going to be a beneficial workshop, not only for our scholars, but again for the teachers and advisors who will be attending with them. Next, we have our Air Force Junior ROTC MOA. And this is a basic MOA that we have to complete routinely in order to continue staffing our ROTC program with the retired Air Force personnel. So please take a look at this. It starts off with just a memo, and then from there it does move into the specifics as far as the infrastructure of the program and the criteria in terms of what the duties and responsibilities are, the limitations within those duties and responsibilities. And we did have Attorney Campbell review this, and we do see it as a routine contract so that we can continue offering Air Force Junior ROTC for our scholars at Selma High School. So let me know if you do have any questions or see any concerns about this particular agreement. Next, we have our bid for lawn care, and right now I don't have what the winning bid is because the bid will be closing out today, and at that time we will of course choose the lowest bid, and that will be the bid that we will present on our board meeting Tuesday for contract. But you do have the information on the bid instructions just to show the format that was used, which includes the RFP schedule. It was issued on March 18th and the submissions are due today. And so the vendor selection is expected to take place at our board meeting on April 9th. So you'll have more information on the specific recommendation at our board meeting and work session. Next, we have another routine agreement, and this is our managed services agreement for IT information transport Solutions Incorporated. And this is for our WAN and internet service. And I'm smiling because Mr. Coleman is here and he coached me on this. So E-rate pays for about 90% of this, so that's a good thing. And this is where we can recoup those E-rate funds. And the great thing about this agreement is that it is doubling our bandwidth. So we're going to go from 500 megs to a full gig. And if you don't know what that means, ask me later and Mr. Coleman will explain it to you. But this is a good thing. This will be a continuation of the work that they've been doing with us. And of course, we're closing 2 sites, Cedar Park and Byrd, which is reducing the amount that we will pay because we have fewer facilities that are needing to be serviced. Next year, we will be bidding this out. And so we may or may not have a different vendor for this for next year. But again, this is doubling our bandwidth, and 90% of the cost is covered through E-rate. Next, we have a consulting agreement for advanced ed. As you know, we will be accredited as a district next year in March of 2020, and we really want to make sure we're getting ahead of that. And so this is going to be one step that we're taking to prepare us for our accreditation engagement review. And that's where the team, of course, comes and works with our teachers, our leaders, our board members, our central office administrators, and so forth, based on advanced ed standards to see how Selma City Schools is doing. And so this is an agreement that covers 3 different sessions, and we are starting this month, actually this week, with the first session with our principals and central office leaders to get an overview of the new advanced ed standards, because the last time Selma City Schools went through accreditation, it was under different advanced ed standards. So these standards are new. So even any of our staff who may have been here during that process, we need to ensure that they are aware of the new standards. Session 2, which we will do either late spring or sometime over the summer, is about the critical self-analysis and strategic thinking, and it also will cover eProof, which is an online platform for submitting information and making sure that we understand how to use that new platform. And then the final session, which will take place in the fall, will be our final preparations to ensure that we understand the workspace that we'll have to use to upload our materials and other key elements that will be necessary for us to be successful for our systems engagement review. And again, our review will take place mid-March of 2020, and you'll be hearing a whole lot more about that in the coming months. And then finally, under consent agenda, we do have an agreement with between us and the Council on Substance Abuse. And this is so that the Council on Substance Abuse can implement prevention services and programs using evidence-based criteria on drug prevention and intervention. They will serve as a resource for our staff and our parents, and also provide data and information related to students as it becomes available. And we want to ensure that when we have students who have been identified as having issues with drugs, that we're not only addressing it from a discipline standpoint, but that we're also providing necessary support. And that's what this agreement does. So it is an MOU, again, with the Council on Substance Abuse. And that is it for our consent agenda items. After that, we have no old business on this board report, but we will have new business in the form of personnel recommendations, and I will be in touch with all of you this week about those recommendations and answer any questions that you have about the individual recommendations that are a part of our personnel report. So again, our board meeting is April 9th, and it will be at Byrd Early Learning Center at 5:30 p.m. Looking forward to seeing you all then, but of course we'll also see you this Thursday at our work session, which will be held here at Central Office at 5 p.m. And then we also have our board retreat this coming Saturday that will be here as well. And so we'll talk more about that if you have any questions when I see you all on Thursday. So I will talk to you all soon. If you have questions before I reach out to you, please give me a call. And thank you so much for your support.